Rolling.
So this is your third release. Did you take a different approach than the other two records?
Third release.
Well,
Yeah, we just bright light. We just took a different approach altogether because we had our friend Chris Goss, producing with us and stuff like that. And we're not engineers, so we had no clue really how to get the sound we wanted to hear. And so this time around, we had his help because he understood what we were going for, and that's really important. And so this time around, it's how we sound live, and that's what we were going for. That's what we've been going for the whole time.
so you wanted just a live sound? That's what you were aiming for?
Well, that's what music, to us, that's what music's about. So that's where we're sticking. We're sticking with what our sound is. We're not going to play any games and tamper with what we sound like live and change it on record.
And what's that sound?
It's just the only sound we kind of know how to do, really. I mean, the stuff we've been doing for the last 5 years. Just a kind of a heavy, bass-heavy, thick type of a sound. Real live sounding. Everything that sort of direction.
So Chris Goss was a Masters of Reality, right?
He still is.
He still is? Is that band getting back together?
They've been together. They've just been working on a record for like 2 years. They've gone through some member changes. And now they're a three-piece. It's Ginger Baker on drums, Googe, the old bass player, and Chris Goss sings and plays guitar. So it's a good lineup. It's something to watch.
What is that?
Record's coming out February.
The Boogeyman that didn't
Yeah, because they didn't have Chris, so that's what you need to have Masters of Reality. So
It's,
bright light.
so how did he fit into the production of the record? And
He's just a personal friend. It was nothing. It wasn't a professional thing that that we went about doing, like asking him to produce the album and everything. And it wasn't business at all. It was just strictly, between our relationship as being friends. We just asked him if he wouldn't mind sitting in and helping us produce our album, and it was no problem. He was into it. It was strictly a personal thing. It wasn't business at all.
That's why we feel like it worked, because it was personal. We were friends and we wanted the studio to have a good time, not to try to change the world, just try to make a record. We try to do it like the old-fashioned way, like have a good time and get into it and enjoy what we were doing instead of taking weeks on snare tracks and stuff like that. So it was good to have a friend in the studio.
okay, what about lyrically? Did you take a different approach that way?
I don't think there was a different approach towards this album than any album that we've done in the past or that we'll do in the future. I think we're educated more on this album as far as what we wanted in the studio, wanted to be done, and what the specific sounds that we wanted. Lyrically, I don't think this band will ever progress. We write lyrics accordingly as far as daily life and anything that makes us smile when we want to smile and makes us.
Well, they weren't the same lyrics as the last album.
No, but lyrics. We don't go into the studio to record an album going, God, let's think of what we can write this time. That's not part of our goal.
We just basically have the tunes and it's time to go into the studio. I mean, we have no control over our own lyrics or even our own songwriting. Not like we're out of control, but I mean, it just comes out the way it comes out, and that's how it comes out. Like we can't change and try to it's just like anytime you stray from what your first reaction to something is, you end up second guessing yourself and all that sort of thing. And we don't want to do that. We want to stick with what we first initially wanted to do.
Even if it's
What about Thong Song? What's going on there? You don't have the lyrics printed on the album, so it's hard to kind of figure out.
We generally don't talk about what our songs are about because it kind of just. We'd rather just have if you can get it, if you can understand the lyrics, get what you can from it and get into it. But if we told people what everything was about, it would be kind of a downer, because whatever you thought it was up until the point where we told you, it would all be ruined, and so it wouldn't matter, kind of sucks to have something be so closed-ended that it means something to you too. Like what it means to me shouldn't be the same thing it means to you. It shouldn't be that closed-ended. It should be open-ended. Like whatever you want it to mean is fine with me. Yeah.
What about the line, I hate slow songs? Is that a reaction to some of the songs that are out now?
No. No comment. No. I cannot confirm or deny that statement. We never talk about lyrics just because we're not into ruining anyone's fun, especially ours. And it's like fun for us not to tell people. So there you go.
There's no message behind our lyrics whatsoever, and whatever you get out of a specific song is what you get out of it, and that's why we write music and perform, is so everyone can enjoy it and
try to
get what they get out of it, regardless of what we get out of it. And lyrics, there's no message behind anything we write.
Yeah, I mean, if I told you what Thong Song was about, you would go, that's it? I thought it was something huge. And then you'd feel silly. No. So we just would rather steer clear from that sort of thing.
Okay, what about the videos? Like you did, both videos are pretty cool. I like them. The first one's like shot in the desert. Is that like your home?
The first one was Thong Song.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
The first one we got was Green Machine.
Yeah. First time it was shot was Thong Song, and we shot that quite a while back, and we weren't planning on releasing it, but decided at the last minute to just let it go ahead and see what that could do for the time being. And Green Machine was shot last July, and that was at home in our desert, and it was pretty heavy experience as far as just going out there and shooting a video, serious videos. It was a lot of fun though, and we're looking forward to shooting Rive here pretty soon in the near future, as soon as we get done touring, which will be sometime in '97. I don't know. I don't know.
Whenever it is, we think.
Yeah, you toured Western Canada earlier this year, was it? Or?
That was last year, I believe,
Last year?
with the Dwarves. Yeah.
The Dwarves. What an experience that was.
Yeah, and it was. I'll just answer all questions by saying it was everything you probably would imagine it to be.
If you know who the Dwarves are.
Yeah.
A lot of nakedness.
A lot of
nudity.
A lot of nudity. A lot of craziness. A lot of violence. A lot of drugs. A lot of rock and roll. A lot of fun.
A lot of dwarves.
A lot of dwarves. Yeah.
You into artificial stimulus or herbal?
Are you?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Well, do you have some? We don't condone drug use, but we won't say
confirm that.
we cannot confirm nor deny the drug use statement, but we can say no comment. I wouldn't. We're not drug
promote
use.
drug abuse.
We do not promote drug abuse. We would never abuse drugs. We have guidelines to how we use drugs that don't abuse them. No, I'm just kidding. That's a lie. That's a total lie.
Use drugs before they use you.
That's what I always say. Get in, get out. No.
How do you feel about all the buzz about the band right now? The hype? Is that whatever?
You just said it all. You just said it all.
Just keep doing what we're gonna do, and you can plug and hype the band all you want, but it doesn't make us any more special than what we are.
It doesn't make people like you.
If writers want to hype the band and say we're great and everything, that's really flattering, and we're into that. But I don't want any listeners to think that we're some huge musical phenomenon. We're just four guys that enjoy playing rock, and that's all we'll be, and that's all we want to be. And
we did not make these.
Yeah, we did not make those. Where those came from is beyond me.
Well, it's like one of those things where hype is kind of hype, like you said it all. That's a bright light. Like, hype can only get you so far. It doesn't make people like you or not like you, so we really can't deal with that sort of thing, because it doesn't do anything for us. It just makes people think you're good, and then if it's not true, everyone's disappointed. It's better if we just forget about what everyone's saying and play, and shut up and play, and don't do any interviews. No, I'm just kidding.
Next big thing. Yeah. You guys are into hardcore and punk and stuff. Like,
Well, I wouldn't say we're into it. I was just saying that for the greater part of our young lives, that's all we listened to. You know, when punk rock died, and I don't care what anyone says, it's dead. When it died, like, I stopped listening to a lot of music. So that was a while ago for me, you know. So now I listen to only a few things, but that's what I was raised on. That's where we got our influence. That's where we got what we are now, you know.
Aren't you guys are pretty young, like 22, 23 or something?
We can't confirm nor deny that statement.
But for that kind of music, like Discharge and all, that was like the early 80s, and so you guys must be pretty young, or did it just come late to
No, we were young kids. I mean, the first time I ever heard a punk rock record was when I was in 5th grade, and I thought it was a heavy metal album. You know, and ever since then I was hooked. And that was about the same year Brant. You know, Brant and I got into punk simultaneously.
So you're a metalhead wannabe.
I wanted to be a metal guy. My favorite record was On Through the Night by Def Leppard at that point. And that was like when I was in 5th grade. And I learned quickly that they were...
I was into the Ramones. I didn't even know they were punk. I was just into them. I thought they were bitching. And then a friend of mine clued me in and said, hey, that's punk rock. And
See, that's what happened to me.
I was like, oh. So I ventured and scoped out. But we all basically... Scott here... He's the one that's...
He's the one you should talk to about punk rock.
Yeah, he's been to the punk shows.
Punker than heck, darn it.
The Black Flag and all that good stuff. He saw those bands.
He saw those bands. We just listened to them.
See, we never got a chance to see those bands, so we created what we wanted to see.
That's the problem. Like, that was the whole problem. Like, we were a little young to go watch Black Flag and the Misfits. You know, it's like that's what I was raised on: Black Flag, the Misfits, GBH, Discharge. And we were a little too young to go to their shows and not get like killed or something. So we had to lay low for a while and end up creating what we wanted to hear those bands evolve into, and that's what we do now.
I think punk rock is exactly what describes our music, though. I mean, I think we're a bunch of punks playing rock music. I mean, we're not hardcore by any sense, and we're not punker music, but I think we're 4 punks playing rock. Basically, is what it is.
A little bit of Sabbath in
Nah.
Well,
I don't.
Sabbath.
I don't want to say I don't like Sabbath, but it's just like it's not my bag. You know, it's like if Sabbath's on the stereo or something like that, I won't turn it off. But I don't buy Sabbath records, because I wasn't when I was growing up with music. You couldn't listen to that stuff because there was no speed metal, and there was no acceptance from the punk rock crowd to listening to metal. Like, Black Sabbath is a good band, but if in my day, it's like if you were into punk and you listen to Sabbath, someone's gonna beat your ass. You know, just didn't work that way. It wasn't how it worked. And then Metallica came along and pushed everything together. Whoever started that shit, and you know, instead
Black Sabbath is more of an uncle thing for me, more of something that your uncle or something would have turned you on to. I mean, that's what Black Sabbath was to me, and a lot of the punk bands let me know that it was all right to venture out and start listening to bands like Sabbath and Led Zeppelin, like Corrosion of Conformity and bands like that were influenced by Sabbath also. I mean, I know Josh was never one for Sabbath or rock or that heavy metal stuff, but for me, I was turned on to that stuff by my uncle. That was his answer to punk rock. You know, when I would sit there and play my punk albums, he said, "Hey, you got to hear this," and he'd say Black Sabbath.
The first punk band.
Maybe they were, man. I don't see any Sabbath influence in what we do. It just so happens that back in '68 when Sabbath was forming, and what they saw as a band, as a rock band, is very similar to what we see here in '92 as a rock band, and it's just I think it's more of a coincidental thing than more of an influential thing.
Yeah, like Black Flag, when I saw them, they all had long hair, and the punks just freaked out. Like, what are these guys doing with long hair, right, at a show?
Well, Henry Rollins said it best. The hair comes and goes, but the attitude stays the same.
So do you have like a certain animosity towards like the metal scene, or?
No, by no means
No.
do we have animosity towards the metal scene. We're just strictly, we just don't want to. We just want to deny the fact that we grew up on punk rock music. I mean, it's not that we're proud of it or that we don't like that fact, but that's the facts. That's basically what it is. We grew up on punk, and that's the way it was, and this is what you get from that.
I mean, for us though, the term metal is much different than it is for a lot of other people. I mean, the term is too vague, and for what heavy metal means to us is like bands like Queensryche and Turbo Lover. What's that?
Turbo Lover.
Judas Priest. Judas Priest. Like those are the heavy metal bands to us, you know, Scorpions. And to be even like in the same area as that, just like.
I think the whole reason we sound the way we do and play the type of music we do is because growing up on punk and stuff, I couldn't imagine, we're not good enough at our instruments to play metal.
Yeah, tell that theory.
That's my theory.
That's our stone theory.
We're not good enough to play metal as far as
This
I
is
mean,
the theory Brant thought of when he was really high. Go ahead, do it.
I could not do a drum solo to save my life. I didn't even know how to play double bass. I couldn't imagine Josh breaking out into some amazing Eddie Van Halen guitar lead, with the exception of Scott over here, Mr. Bassmaster. I don't see any of us really.
We're too shitty.
We couldn't be a metal band if we wanted to be, you know. We're just.
What are you saying, that I could fit in quite nicely with a metal band?
No, I'm complimenting you on your 27 years of mastering the bass guitar. That's all I'm saying.
Money.
We're a bunch of punks playing rock, you know, rock the way we think rock should be played, you know. And
We're not a bunch of rockers playing punk.
No, we're not. We're punks playing rock. I don't know.
But the thing is, like punk is, like you said, dead, and that you see this amalgamation going on because, you know, bands from England aren't doing anything except for techno, and it's kind of gone into you know, like Soundgarden type bands who've got the mix of the two happening.
That's cool though. I mean, you know,
because you're not gonna.
Music's music, and the weird thing is Brant has said this before. It's Soundgarden and those bands and Nirvana. Those are great bands, but they did not create rock and roll. This whole grunge bullshit that everyone's talking about. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. They did not create rock and roll. It is rock and roll music. That's rock. It's good rock and roll. That's all it is. They did not start something. They did not own. They don't corner the market on anything. It's just. I mean, it's like.
Once, I'd like to. For specific bands to be able to record an album and have people listen to it and just for the sake of rock music just say this is a great rock and roll album rather than saying this is a great speed metal, thrash, grindcore, hardcore punk album. I mean, it's
Punk
just
fusion metal alternative grindcore. What the hell is all that stuff?
It's either a good rock album or it's not in my book. And the whole Seattle thing is just a barrage of great rock bands, and it's like now if you play anything that's considerably acceptable as like interesting rock, you're considered grunge, and that's
a shame.
That doesn't bother me, and to me that's just a lack of imagination on writers' parts, you know.
I think it's a shame because it's a great media tool and it worked. Like whoever thought of the word grunge should be rich by now because it's a great media trip, you know. But it's just all good rock and roll. Soundgarden, Nirvana, all these bands, just good rock and roll bands. And people need to forget. Like people spend too much time like categorizing what everything is. Just throw it on your turntable, throw it on your CD player, whatever you have. And listen to it. Don't worry about what it is. No one cares. It doesn't matter anymore, you know? That's what should have happened. It shouldn't matter anymore what you are. There's so many, like, fusion, everything, whatever, you know? That it shouldn't matter anymore, yeah?
And, let's get off on something else. The album cover is, I guess, from some astronomy
Big Bear,
kind of thing.
Big Bear Solar Institute. It's a telescopic picture of the sun, and it's just a good looking, appealing type picture that you can look at in any mood you're in.
And a couple of your publishing company names got Arm of the Universe, Molten. Is that like you guys are into astronomy or?
We're no more into astronomy than anybody else.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just liking, it's just liking what you like. I mean, we do what we do because we like it. If we find a picture of the sun that's really cool, we'll put it in. But I mean, I wouldn't say we're astronomy buffs. Yeah.
I just thought maybe in the desert you can see stars better.
You can.
That's very true. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that had to do with what we did. I mean, we didn't just. We didn't.
All right, go ahead.
John.
John,
You got anything to say? Your publishing company is called Proud to Be Mexican.
proud to be Mexican music.
Okay, and what's that about?
This is what it means. Proud to be Mexican music.
Are you Mexican heritage?
Yep. Yeah.
So do you want to make a statement about your
Not
proudness
really.
of that ethnic?
Learn to roll your R's.
Learn to roll your R's.
That's the message.
I just thought maybe you had encountered something from where you're from that you wanted to make a statement about. I guess not.
No issues involved in this one.
We're a purely
exactly. It's
escapist
just-
trip. We just play music so you can shut your eyes and forget about all your problems that
No
you have.
politics, no issues.
No politics, no bullshit. No no funky
cliches.
costumes. Just cruise out and yeah. We're a fully escapist trip, and that's what we do. That's why we do it.
No sobriety.
No sobriety while listening.
Silver for Soundgarden, and Ozzy's got his wife being manager. It's just interesting. I'm
Brand's my
See,
wife's
all
a
of
female,
us.
too.
All
yeah,
of us.
That's good.
John's married to Kathy, our manager.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
No, really, we are.
No, we just have sex. No, I'm just kidding.
Are you married?
No.
Yes.
Money.
Come on.
Money.
They always deny it. They don't want anybody to know.
Can we deny the fact that Kathy's husband is John?
No, that's true.
That
I'm
is
sorry.
absolutely true.
All right, forget it. It's true.
Say so.
I didn't want to, but you
They
can't.
pull my
You can't
leg.
say that.
No, that is
Oh, yeah.
absolute true.
Kathy's husband is John.
Okay. So if Kathy is your wife, let's step into that scenario. Does it affect the band having one member having a
Not
wife?
at all. I share with the other band members. If anybody wants anything, you just come to me and I set them up with Kathy. Oh,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But you guys aren't going to say anything if it was any other way, right?
what's that? What's that?
What are you saying?
What are you saying?
Here, would you get this on video here? What is that?
That's
I've been
my-
trying to figure
that's
out
my
what this
dinner.
is for the last like,
That's my
15
dinner.
minutes.
Look all you want.
It looks like a lemon and a huge bowel movement.
It looks like modern art.
Some sorts.
Money. Don't do that.
Mm.
Okay.
Fuck, that's Vulcan.
Okay. Anything else you want to say or not
Absolutely.
say?
I'd like to not say something.
This is really gross.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think everyone has. What'd you say?